What's up, guys? Alex here from the Buddy Fight News Corner, bringing you another deck profile for Tsukuyomi Energies Star Guardian Jackknife build. Since the set released on Friday, I've been testing an updated version of this. This is the build I've had the most success with over the course of the season, the tournament seasons. I placed top 3 with it in New York Springfest and top 8 in New York BWC. And so I like to stick to what I know and keep it updated, keep it fresh. But there will be changes and things later on down the road once I get to testing more things. But this is what I've got so far with the set release. One copy of Biggest Dragon Arm Sonic Blast. If you ever have to call him, he's 2 gauge, 636. When he's in the soul of a Neo Dragon, when that Neo Dragon attacks, you pay 1 gauge, destroy it. Card on the field. It's the only size 3 we have. For size 2s, 4-star Guardian Jackknife. He's the buddy. You pay 1 gauge. He's a 536. When he enters, you may take a monster from the drop zone and put it into his soul. And that's through an effect, not through the call cost. So you don't have to get soul in order to call him, but they can also respond to him using counter destruction. So that kind of hurts when you're playing against things like Darkness Dragon World that have counter speed destroy size 2s. For the next base form Jack, we have 3 of the new Future Gazer Jackknife. He's pay 1 gauge and put a monster from your drop zone into the soul. But this one's through the call cost, so they can't destroy him through counter speed destruction. So this is the one you're going to want to use against Darkness Dragon World and things like that. He's 524. If you have 4 or more monsters in the drop zone, he gets +2 power and +2 defense. And then if you have 8 or more, he gets penetrate. And then he's got move and soul guard. And then last for size 2s, my favorite card, Ride the Wings of Fate. Radiant Guardian Jackknife Aster. Pay 1 gauge and you may call him on top of a Jackknife. During your opponent's turn, he can't be destroyed by card effects. And while he's on the field, you cannot be dealt damage by effects, and your items are safe from destruction. For size 1s, got 1 copy of Jack Arm's J-Igniter. When it's in the soul of a Jackknife, that card gets an extra critical for the turn. 1 copy of Dragon Arm's Radiant Alma. When you're at 6 or less life and this is in the soul of a Neo Dragon, you pay 1 gauge to give that Neo Dragon double attack for the turn. 1 copy of Dragon Arm Salnata. When this card is put from the field or the drop zone into the card of the soul of a Neo Dragon, you gain 1 gauge. And 1 copy of Dragon Arm's Transportal. When this is in the soul of a Neo Dragon and that Neo Dragon attacks, you can remove a soul from a card on the field. All of them are 2 crits, size 1s, so they also serve really well as monsters as well as their Dragon Arm functions. 3 copies of V-Gradation Quantum Ruler. When he enters the field, once per turn, if you have a Neo Dragon with soul, you gauge 1, draw 1. 3 copies of Star Guardian Jackknife SD. You pay 1 gauge and you can call a Jackknife from the drop zone over top of this card by paying its call cost. Usually 1 gauge. And then 3 copies of Luminous Blue. When he attacks, you can put a monster from the drop zone into the soul of a Neo Dragon, and then he gets +1/+1 for each card in the soul on your field. Zeros. got 2 copies of Dragon Arm's Garble Anchor. It's your spell null. When your opponent casts a spell, and this is in the Soul of a Neo Dragon, pay a gauge and a life, and then shoot him out of soul to negate the spell. 2 copies of Dragon Arm's Artillegar. If this card is in the Soul of a Neo Dragon, nullify all abilities of size 2 or lower monsters on your opponent's field that are in battle with the monster. And this effect cannot be nullified. For spells, we have 4 copies of Mars Barrier. You can cast it whenever during an attack on your opponent's turn, as long as it's not a link attack. It can shield you or your monster, as long as it's not a link attack. 4 copies of the new spell, Jackknife History. You can use one of the 2 effects. You could either put it into the soul of a card with Jackknife on the field, so you can use it for free soul from hand if you need soul in your Jackknife, or you can counterspeed use it for a +4/+4 counterattack. That's why I use it over Speculate Ring, because the difference between 9 and 10 is really a good stage. Three copies of Fate Information. You pay 1 gauge, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you add a size 2 or lower or an item from those 3 into your hand, and then the rest go to drop zone. It fills your drop zone for your jack. It searches out your jacks. It searches out your items. Searches out Quantum Ruler. It hits almost everything in the deck besides the spells. Three copies of Sudden Wormhole. Pay 1 gauge, and you can call a size 2 or less monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost, or you can counterspeed call a size 1 from your hand by paying its call cost. The second effect, you're not going to use all too often, but there have been times where I have used it for either a defensive or offensive play. Three copies of Starjack Repair. You can only cast it if you have a card with Jackknife on your field. You can put the top card of your deck into your gauge, and you take a card from the drop zone and put it into the Soul of a Neo Dragon on your field. And then 3 copies of Null Place. You pay 1 gauge, pay 1 life, destroy a monster on your opponent's field with 5,000 or less defense. It hits a lot of the size 2s that are relevant in the meta at the moment. It hits 5th Omni Drum. It hits other jacks, as long as it's not the Star Guardian or Aster. It hits Ball Dragons, Abigails, all of them, as well as the size 1s. It even hits Zodiac. Go figure. Zodiac's on the picture. It hits Zodiac. And last but not least, items. 4 copies of Radiant Saber Providence. Pay 1 gauge to equip. It's a 4/2. And all monsters with Jackknife on the field get move. And then this card gets +1 for each card in the soul of cards on your field. And that's it for that. It's just a quick rundown of the changes I made to the deck that's been around for a while. Stay tuned for more. We're going to be digging deeper into Annihilate the third booster. Yeah. We'll be digging more into that, building more decks from that, so stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated. See ya.